For the news and current affairs, the Department of Freedom Communications Incorporated. A pleasant good evening and welcome to Freedom News Basket. From the news and current affairs, the Department of Freedom Communications Incorporated. A pleasant good evening and welcome to Freedom News Basket for the 5 minutes of major happenings about Liberia, Africa, and elsewhere. And I'm Stephen Compton, anchoring this Monday, May 27, 2024 edition of the news program. And top stories we are carrying this evening. Former Vice President Joy Howard Taylor encourages women and girls to prioritize education for the betterment of their lives, calls on them not to allow sex becomes the driving force to their successful life. House Speaker Councillor Funati Kofa outlines challenges confronting the educational sector, recommends concrete steps to improve the system. Police Inspector General Colonel Gregory Coleman vows to restore public trust and confidence within the Liberia National Police under his administration. In a way from Liberia now, Kenya's President William Ruto has come in favor, that's come in for widespread criticism after saying the private jet he used to fly to the U.S. last week was cheaper than using the national airline. Details of these, the news bulletin, and the actual voices of the news maker are coming up next. Up next is the bulletin of news with Hagar Gonda. Good evening, Hagar.
A non-for-profit organization over the weekend held a one-day National Women Entrepreneurship and Leadership Conference for women across the country. The conference was held under the theme Ensuring Inclusive Women Leadership, Capacity Building to Strengthen the Fight to Eradicating All Forms of Violence Against Women and Girls. Giving the overview of the program, the executive director, Marianne Cooper, said the Women Support Women Initiative Africa was funded to promote women education, entrepreneurship, violence against women, among others. According to her, since the launch of the organization, they have been able to train over 300 women in various capacities, adding that the day would not only raise awareness of women, but also educate them against violence against women, among others. Meanwhile, serving as keynote speaker, former Vice President Joy Howard Taylor admonished young women to not allow sex to become a driving force to their successful life. The former Liberian Vice President encouraged women, most especially young ladies, to prioritize education for the betterment of their lives. The anti-burglary unit of the Liberia National Police is currently investigating a burglary into 3 offices of the Liberian Senate by unknown criminals who took away several valuable items. Addressing the Senate Director of Security, Aloysius Wise, the offices, that's Aloysius Wise noted that the offices that were victimized include Senator Amara Kane, Joseph Njala, and Thomas Nimle of Bapolu, Lofa, and Grangeda counties, respectively. Director Wise disclosed that an amount of 10,000 Liberian dollars, 200 United States dollars, and $700 worth of gasoline was as well as documents intended for Maytag and cargo tracking note investigation were taken away from the office of Senator Amara Kane. He furthered that 4 laptops were taken from the office of Senator Joseph Jala, while 2 laptops and a smartphone were taken away from the office of Grangeda County Senator Thomas Nimle. Meanwhile, the Senate Security Department has arrested and placed behind bar Officer Siafa Kamara, who was serving as duty commander at the Liberia National Police. According to him, Siafa Kamara is considered a prime suspect based on what he alleged as conflicting statements during the preliminary investigation. This is the second time in less than a month for burglary to take place at the Liberian Senate, which Director Wisse termed as a criminal organized gang, probably within the Senate security. Former Maritime Commissioner General Eugene Nangwe has dispelled speculations about former President George Weah not contesting for the presidency come October, that's 2029 general and presidential elections. Recently, Bapolu County Senator Amara Kone made a speculation that the former Liberian leader is indecisive about his next political decision in the 2029 presidential elections. The Bapolu County Senator further that the opposition coalition for democratic change currently lacks leadership as former President Weah is struggling to reconsolidate or unite members within the party. But responding to the Bapolu County Senator's claim on a local radio in Monrovia Monday, the former Commissioner General of the Liberia Maritime termed the information as false and misleading. The former Maritime Commissioner Nangwe added that those who are speculating about the former president not contesting comes 2029 are individuals who want to see him out of the country's politics. According to the former commissioner, since the inauguration, former President Weah has had several meetings with various heads within the CDC on the party preparedness for the 2029 general and presidential elections. Meanwhile, the CDC 2023 campaign manager has disclosed that the former president will contest the 2029 general elections as presidential candidate on the ticket of the Coalition for Democratic Change, adding that the former president remains the political leader of the party. Clarifying further on the resignation of the party former chairman Moba Molu, Nangwe said former chairman Molu remains a member of the party despite his recent resignation from the party's leadership. Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman has vowed to restore public trust and confidence within the Liberian National Police. The Liberian National Police over the years has suffered a series of criticisms from the public due to what they described as acts of corruption and partiality in the discharge of their duties. Meanwhile, speaking Monday, May 27 on ERBC, Colonel Coleman acknowledged that the trust and confidence the public has in the police is very low. He, however, noted that the LNP is working out modalities in a bit of time to enhance trust and confidence within the police. Coleman believes that a strong police relationship with the public will create a safe environment and promote economic development in the country. He further that plans are on the way to address the well-being of volunteer police officers while recruiting and training a new batch of officers remain under his watch. Senators Edwin Snow, Augustine Chia, and Representative Musa Bility have taken to their personal Facebook pages to question the source of the over 200 F-moving equipment to Liberia, as disclosed by the executive branch. During day 2 of President Joseph Boakai's first cabinet retreat held at the EGS Ministerial Complex in Congo Town, Deputy Minister of State without portfolio, Minister Memeka Bility, disclosed that 285 yellow machines are expected in Liberia from China. Despite her failure to detail the deal reached between Liberia and China, the minister said the equipment will be used for road construction, adding that 19 of those machines will be assigned to each county to speed up road connectivity, mainly in the rural areas. The pronouncement of such a huge endeavor has sparked a public debate among many state actors, including Nimba County Senator, that's Nimba County District 7 Representative Musa Bility, Senators Edwin Snow and Chair of Sino and Bomi, respectively. Senator Snow stressed that the government cannot sacrifice transparency and accountability on the altar of perceived development, demanding for transparency in the pronouncement of said equipment by the executive. At the same time, Senator Chie, in an interview with a local radio station via telephone, pondered over how President Joseph Boakai got the huge quantity of heavy-duty equipment worth millions of United States dollars without the legislature knowing the source of the funding. Chie, who chairs the Senate Judiciary Committee, emphasized that the legislature made no appropriation for the equipment in the budget, no loan agreement for such, and there is no grant or someone or an institution making a goodwill donation to the government. Representative Belletti said the legislature, under the line item called Presidential Project, gave the president the latitude in the 2024 budget to perform a similar task call for transparency and equitable implementation of this critical project. The Director General of the Liberia Broadcasting System is calling on heads of government entities to ensure timely and proper payment for their programs on the state radio. Highlighting the financial constraints of the LBS, Eugene Fagon stated that 40% of the system's revenue is generated through commercials. Speaking on the second day of President Joseph Boakai's cabinet retreat at the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex in Congo Town over the weekend, Fagon emphasized the importance of these payments for the sustenance of the broadcasting system. He noted that under his leadership over the past 2 months, the state broadcaster underwent major digital transformation. Fagon issued a clearer warning that effective June 1, 2024, any entity requiring the services of the LBS outside broadcast crew must notify them well in advance. The measure, according to him, is intended to ensure better coordination and efficiency in the deployment of LBS resources. The cabinet retreat, which is a first under the Boakai Kun administration, was organized under the theme Coordination and Performance. In his address, Fagon underscored the critical role of proper funding in the maintenance of the quality and reach of public broadcasting services. And Gender Minister Horace Colley has vowed to take strong legal action against any government official involved in rape, emphasizing that such crimes cannot be compromised. Her stance was made clear during the first cabinet meeting under President Joseph Boakai held at the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex in Congo Town over the weekend. Minister Colley underscored the government's zero tolerance policy towards rape and other forms of sexual violence, pledging to take decisive action against any official found guilty of such offense. According to her, the ministry will not compromise on this issue and added that any government official involved in rape will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. In her address, Minister Colley also highlighted a series of rape cases that had surfaced, including one involving a man claiming to be a former Liberian National Police officer. She noted that there had been attempts to cover up this particular case, but with her intervention and the consent of the police, the investigation has been reopened. Minister Colley's firm commitment to justice and accountability aims to send a strong message that the government will not tolerate sexual violence and will protect the rights and dignity of all women. Well, that's it for the news bulletin. Is back to Stephen Compton for the continuation of the news program.
Hagar Gonda there with the full bulletin of news. Hagar returns later with the foreign developments. If you are just joining us, this is a reminder that you are listening to the May 27, 2024 edition of the Freedom Evening News Basket, 45 minutes of major happenings about Liberia, Africa, and elsewhere. And one of the top developments we are carrying this evening, former Vice President Joy Howard Taylor encourages women and girls to prioritize education for the betterment of their lives. Calls on them not to allow sex becomes the driving force to their useful life. We'll take a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you voices of the news makers. back. Thanks for joining us. Former Maritime Commissioner General Eugene Namwe has dispelled speculation about former President George Weah not contesting for the presidency comes 2029 general and presidential elections. Recently, Bapuru County Senator Amara Conan made a speculation that a former Liberian leader is indecisive about his next political decision in the 2029 presidential election. But responding to the Bapuru County Senator alleged speculation on a local radio station in Monrovia Monday, the former Commissioner General of the Liberia Maritime termed the information as false and misleading.
Well, there is apparently a very strong movement that is seeking to ensure that President Weah leaves the political stage, quite prematurely. And they are the ones pushing this myth that there is no leadership, the CDC has no political leader, and therefore the CDC has lost its potency and all of that, So it is quite untrue. To the contrary, President Weah, since the inauguration, he traveled to Ghana and returned. Since his return, has been very actively engaged with the party politics, the party's affairs. Like he said in one of his interviews, he is mainly focused now on rebuilding the CDC, reconsolidating, bringing our auxiliaries together. He has had meetings with, at least, if my count is right, about 30 different meetings, some lasting well into the night and well into the early morning hours with the various aspects of the party. So he is engaged with our rebuilding process, our rebranding process, our reconsolidation process. So for somebody to say that there is a lack of leadership in the CDC is misleading.
Meanwhile, the CDC 2023 campaign manager has disclosed that the former president will contest the 2029 general elections as presidential candidate on the ticket of the Coalition for Democratic Change, adding that the former president remains the political leader of the party. Clarifying further on the resignation of the party former chairman Moba Molu, Namwe said former chairman Molu remains a member of the party despite his recent resignation from the party's chairmanship.
So about Molu's resignation, the former chairman who served the CDC very well exercised his democratic right to step aside and to go in another direction. Molu is still a member of the CDC. He has not left the party. And we believe that wherever he is working from, he can contribute to the general good of the country. The CDC is not bereft of people to take leadership. So when Molu left, we have an interim chairman now, Councillor Jangako, who is leading the efforts to move the party in the new direction, and that will continue. So we are not bereft of people to lead. There always will come a time when people will move on, when people will recalibrate and do things that they want to do. About Lester, I don't know why people keep calling him a stalwart of the CDC. I'm not aware of that. I know that he was a member, but is he in a position to decide whether the former president gets on the party ticket or not? That's left, for our own internal democratic processes. And if he can come to the table and present another candidate at our convention to former president Weah, then that's it. That's the nature of the beast. There will be people who would not want a particular candidate, even internally, and they have the right to not want President Weah to be on the ballot anymore. But I'm saying from a standpoint of the vast majority of the members of CDC, we are still, and the former president himself is still very active on the political landscape. And like I have said in my reaction to Senator Kone, who said that we have no leadership, that we do have an undisputed leader, he's former President Weah. Absolutely. And I have to answer you in this way.
Former Maritime Commissioner Eugene Namwe there providing information and reacting to Bapuru County Senator Amara Conan's speculation that President George Weah may not contest in the 2029 election. Women Support Women Initiative Africa, a non-for-profit organization, over the weekend held a one-day National Women Entrepreneurship and Leadership Conference for women across the country. The conference was held under the theme Ensuring Inclusive Women Leadership, Capacity Building to Strengthen the Fight to Eradicate all forms of violence against women and girls. Giving the overview of the program, the Executive Director Marind Cooper said the Women Support Women Initiative Africa was founded to promote women education, entrepreneurship, violence against women, among others.
Our objective is to accelerate the personal and professional leadership development of women and to provide guidance and capacity building and of women of diverse background, and to the volunteers and introduction of value addition of quality input of women-led activities. The objective seeks to engage women political actor knowledge on the importance of women participation at the highest level of decision making. This initiative was launched to amplify women's voices and to empower women, where we have our women of success, those women that have made the airways, coming to tell us their success stories. What are those difficulties and the challenges that they are faced with to come and train our women now to do the same? The Women Support Women Initiative, it was launched July 30th by Liberia's first female Vice President for Excellency, Madam Joelle Howard Taylor.
Meanwhile, serving as keynote speaker, former Vice President of Liberia, Joelle Howard Taylor, admonished young women to not allow sex to become the driving force to their lives.
It should be money for telephone, money for one car, or sex for telephone, sex for car, sex for job. And you finish money on one level, but everybody will have to say sex. So once you start it, it is a seed that you are planting. And when you plant that seed, it will germinate in your lifetime. It will go to your children's lifetime. The Bible says the seeds of the father will go to the fourth and fifth generation. So you plant it, your very generation will plant a seed that you already planted.
From Vice President Joelle Howard Taylor there speaking. Earlier, you listened to the voice of the representative of Women Support Women Initiative Africa. With more development now, General Minister Harris Colley has vowed to take strong legal action against any government official involved in rape, emphasizing that such crimes cannot be compromised. Her stands were made clear during the first cabinet meeting under President Joseph Boakai held at the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex in Congoton over the weekend. Minister Colley underscored the government's zero-tolerance policy towards rape and other forms of sexual violence. Nope. We sincerely apologize. We hope to bring you that episode during our subsequent newscast. Today's next development, as a means of empowering women and youth in Liberia, an organization under the banner United Women for the Empowerment of Women and Youth organization has launched its official program. The organization is involved in empowering women and girls through loans and vocational education, particularly in tailoring. Speaking at the launching program, keynote speaker Reverend David Wiesed called for unity among members of the organization, adding that the organization can only succeed if members are together.
When people are united for one simple goal, that unity, when the mindset are together, they will always continue to progress. And because of that simple unity, nobody want to detract one attention from the other person, because they know they have one single goal. And the fact that they have that one single goal, they want to work. So in unity, there is always success. When people are united, they always achieve positively what they want. I listened keenly when I was sitting and the president spoke, and our mother also came that this number that you see live day to day started just from 2%. And because of their united method, and because they hold on together, And they have one common goal. And so you see today, the number is increased. And I believe that.
For his part, President of the United People for the Empowerment of Women and Youth, SAD MAG, called for financial support from international partners, including the United States Embassy near Monrovia.
In the year 2021 to 2023, this organization was able to generate the amount of $350,000 Liberian dollars. Please, audience, let us give a big hand clap to these vital and productive rights men and women of Zimbabwe. In addition to that, this organization was able to legalize a status with the government of Liberia, pay way to open the vocational school in Terror, which is tuition free for the women and young people, most especially girls, are taking charge to pay the rent and to buy few new machines. It is a wake-up call to all kinds of high-tech Liberian and philanthropists. My fellow listeners, guests,
Police Inspector General Colonel Gregory Coleman has vowed to restore public trust and confidence within the Liberia National Police under his administration. The Liberia National Police over the years has suffered series of criticism from the public due to what they described as acts of corruption and partiality in the discharge of their duties. Meanwhile, speaking Monday, May 27, on ELBC, Colonel Coleman acknowledged that the trust and confidence the public has in the police is very low.
Well, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and our times are in his hands. I still believe there's a lot in me to give back within that sector. So when I was called upon to serve, I welcome the opportunity, and I'm there to make the best of it to ensure that we improve the delivery of law enforcement services in the Republic of Liberia. Well, there is a difference because, every time the organization is run mainly by the officers, their motivation to perform the duty, and most importantly, the leadership. So whenever there's a leadership change, there will be a shift in the entire organizational perspective, which is what we are experiencing right now.
Police Inspector General Colonel Gregory Coleman speaking. The Director General of the Liberia Broadcasting System is calling on heads of government entities to ensure timely and proper payments for their programs on the state radio. Highlighting the financial constraints of the LBS, Eugene Fagon stated that 40% of the system's revenue is generated through commercials. Speaking on the second day of President Joseph Boykart's cabinet retreat at the Ellen Johnson Ministerial Complex in Congo Town over the weekend, Fagon emphasized the importance of these payments for the sustenance of the broadcasting system.
LBS is partial in the government communications arm, and the chair of the board is seated out there, the Minister of Information. We get 60% of our budget from the government. Therefore, we owe it to the government to help the government propagate its policies, programs, and what have you. Thankfully, the other 40% we have to gather from commercials, from the contracts, from sponsorship, from what you do with your PR budget. That's how we run the LBS. Thankfully, in the last 2 months, we managed to improve the system where we now have live television. As you sit here right now, looking at yourself, you are on national television right now. Also, you are also on our national radio stations. That means the language radio station. That means metro radio station. That means
Eugene Fagon is the Director General of the Liberia Broadcasting System there speaking. Senators Edwin Snow, Augustine Chid, and Representative Musa Hassan Bediti have taken to their personal Facebook pages to question the source of the over 200 earth moving equipment to arrive in Liberia as disclosed by the executive branch. During the day 2 of President Joseph Boykart's first cabinet retreat held at the Ellen Johnson Selly Ministerial Complex in Congo Town, Deputy Minister of State with our portfolio, Minister Mamanka Bedete, disclosed that 285 yellow machines are expected to arrive in the country from China.
So I will take you as a president. We haven't seen this. I was really glad to participate in this. I think it's a blessing. And for us to be able to fix our ways outside, we have anybody else. This is the true definition of local and starting mind. So just a short video of how the virtual so all the share the videos
Senator Chie, in an interview with a local radio station via telephone, pondered over how President Boakai got the huge quantity of heavy-duty equipment worth millions of United States dollars without the legislature knowing the source of the funding.
Firstly, let me say thank you, Brahma, for having me and for the access to your platform. We will be against development. We all want development. That's why if you read my post, in the second sentence, I said after the question as to this transaction, before I even went into my concern, or whatever concern that we have had, I said that was laudable. But my main concern has been about the how. If a person is bringing in 285 pieces of equipment, you know that it's the law that law agreement must be negotiated by the executive, and after that is done and consummated, the executive must submit that law agreement to the legislature.
Sano County Senator Augustine Chide questioning the source of the money used to purchase the 285 yellow machine that are expected to be brought in the country by the government of Liberia. Ahead of the news presentation is our foreign development, but this development sets the pace. A group on the Baron determined India's culture and tourism over the weekend had a day-long national event for racing stars in Pinsville City. Addressing parents, students, and the public at the event, the Chief Executive Officer of the Determined Angels Culture and Tourism, Patricia David Hammerberg, called on the American Embassy in Monrovia to grant their kids visa to showcase their talent across the world.
I gratefully call on the Embassy of the United States of America to please grant these students their visa, which is going to be representing Liberia at the World Championship of Performing Arts at Long Beach, California, USA. This visa will decide the fate of the students. We are calling on all embassy representatives in the Republic of Liberia to please support these students by giving them their visa. Finally, Daddy promised for relentless, and we will not let you down. All we need from you is your support. At this point, it is no longer our organization, it is about our nation. From December to this year, we have conducted auditions in which 500 participants of Liberia participated, and 100 was qualified. If you read, they will be representing Liberia in the United States of America, some in Spain, and other Asia. They will be in these countries promoting Liberian culture and putting our children on the path where over 80 nations will gather to see the uniqueness of our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, these years need your help. They need your support.
Patricia David Hammerberg is the Chief Executive Officer of an organization on the Baron Determined Angels Culture and Tourism. She spoke over the weekend when the organization had a day-long national event in Pinsville, Assau, the nation's capital. Well, we'll take a very short break. When we come back, we'll go back to Hagar Gonda for the foreign development. Welcome back. Let's now join Hagar Gonda for the foreign developments.
Kenya's President William Ruto has come in for widespread criticism after saying the private jet he used to fly to the U.S. last week was cheaper than using the national airline. He did not, however, say how much the jet had cost or how much it would have cost on Kenya Airways. The fights that are out in the public do not seem to bear him out, political analyst Prof. Herman Moyura told the BBC. Senior opposition figure Eugene Wamalwa told local media that the president's remarks were unpatriotic. He said the president should instead have used the opportunity to market the Kenya Airway. Mr. Ruto went to the U.S. on a 3-day official state visit, the first such trip by an African leader in more than 15 years. While he was there, Kenya secured a number of investment deals worth billions of dollars. The country was also designated by the U.S. as a major non-North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, ally, commenting its position as one of these U.S. closest security partners in Africa. But the use of a luxury jet for the U.S. trip has continued to spark criticism, prompting the president to respond. On Sunday, a day after returning to the country, Mr. Ruto defended himself as a stalwart of public resources. That's it for the foreign news.
Hagar Gonda there with the foreign development, and he's taking us on this Monday, May 27, 2024 edition of the news program. But before we take leave of you, reminder of top stories we close the photo this evening. Former Vice President Joy Howard Taylor encourages women and girls to prioritize education for the betterment of their lives, calls on them not to allow sex becomes the driving force to their successful life. How Speaker Councillor Funante Kofa outlines challenges confronting the education sectors, recommends concrete steps to improve the system. Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman vows to restore public trust and confidence within the Liberia National Police on his administration, and away from whom Kenya's President William Ruto has come in for widespread criticism after saying the private jet he used to fly to the U.S. last week was cheaper than using the national airline. On this note, we'd like to say many thanks to our news writers, correspondents, and editors for making this Monday, May 27, 2024 edition of Freedom News Basket of Success. Hagar Gonda were here with the news bulletin, inclusive of the foreign development. Abraham Kamara sat at control and ably coordinated the sound system. On behalf of the entire news team here at Freedom Communications Incorporated, I'm Stephen Compton. Thanks for listening and watching.